When they came back on, the number 9 was glowing.
I didn't believe in haunted buildings, not the way people online talk about them. Demons in mirrors, red eyes in the dark, some ancient curse attached to a cheap apartment lease. I believed in old wiring, in tired people, in stress that makes your brain invent patterns. I believed in cameras that glitch and elevators that need maintenance. That's why when I took the job as a night shift caretaker at Linden Court, I expected boredom. A little paperwork, a few drunken tenants, and the occasional burst pipe. Linden Court was an 8-story residential block built in the late 90s. Concrete, glass, a lobby that tried too hard to look modern. It sat at the edge of the city where new developments ended and older neighborhoods began. Not a dangerous area, just quiet. The kind of place where sound travels too far at night. My job was simple. Check the boiler room and water valves, make sure the lobby doors locked properly, clean up anything the day shift missed, respond to minor complaints, noise, alarms, broken lights, log everything. I worked from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., alone. The building manager, Mr. Jansen, gave me the keys and ran through the basics like he'd done it 100 times. He was the kind of man who spoke in half sentences, always glancing at his phone. When we reached the elevator lobby, he paused with his hand on the call button. "Elevators are old," he said. I nodded. "Okay." He looked at me, and for the first time that night, his expression sharpened. "If the elevator does anything weird," he said, "you call me. Don't try to fix it, don't reset it." I almost laughed. Like what, get stuck? His eyes flicked to the doors. "Like it stops somewhere it shouldn't." I raised an eyebrow. "It has 8 floors." He hesitated, just a fraction too long. "Right," he said, then forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Anyway, welcome aboard." That was the first time I felt something I couldn't quite name. Not fear. Not yet. Just a small, unpleasant sense that I'd stepped into a story someone else had already started. My first week was ordinary. A teenager left cigarette butts in a stairwell. Someone's dog had an accident near the mailboxes. A hallway light on the 4th floor flickered like a dying insect. I learned the building's rhythm. The way it creaked after midnight, the way the pipes clicked when the heating cycled, the way the lobby smelled faintly of wet coats and cleaning chemicals. I also learned that most tenants avoided me. Not rudely, just quickly. Their eyes slid away like they didn't want to start a conversation that might trap them. People in apartment buildings tend to guard their privacy, but this felt different, like they were guarding something else. On my 7th night, I noticed the elevator panel had a scratch on it. New, bright lines that cut through the old brushed metal. Someone had scratched hard enough to leave grooves. The scratch was shaped like a single letter. L. I looked at it longer than I should have, then shrugged it off. Kids vandalize. People get bored. At around 2:14 a.m., the elevator doors opened by themselves. No ding, no call light, just a soft hydraulic sigh, and the doors slid apart. The car was empty. I stepped closer, peering inside. The interior lights were on, and the mirror at the back reflected the lobby in a warped way. I expected the doors to close again. They didn't. I checked the elevator monitor in the caretaker office, just a simple display that logs stops and faults. It showed the car had come down from the 6th floor to the lobby. No record of who called it. I was about to press the close button when I noticed something I hadn't seen before. On the control panel inside the elevator, beneath the 8, there was a faint circle in the metal, like a button had been removed and replaced with a blank plate. The circle had a number stamped in it. Not a real button, not lit, just a faded imprint. 9. My stomach tightened. But Linden Court had only 8 floors. I'd walked the roof access myself on day 3. 8 floors, then the roof. I stared at the imprint until my eyes hurt. Then the elevator doors closed, slow and quiet, like the car was embarrassed. I told myself it was leftover from the building's original plan. Maybe they'd intended a 9th floor and never built it. Maybe they reused parts. I made a note in the log anyway. 0214, elevator opened on its own. Panel shows faint 9 imprint. Check with manager. Then I went back to my desk and tried not to think about it. 2 nights later, I got my first real complaint. At 3:07 a.m., the lobby intercom buzzed. The screen displayed 804. I picked up. "Caretaker, this is Miles." A woman's voice came through, thin and strained. Can you come up?" she asked. "Sure," I said. "What's the problem?" There was a pause. I could hear faint static, like her handset was old. "The elevator," she whispered. "It keeps opening
and I think someone is standing there. My throat went dry. Okay, I said calmly. Stay in your apartment, lock the door, I'm coming up. I grabbed my flashlight, radio, and master keycard. As I headed for the elevator, I told myself this was a simple situation. A tenant had seen a shadow. Maybe someone was drunk, wandering. Maybe the elevator had been moving. The elevator doors were closed when I reached them. The call button wasn't lit. I pressed the up arrow. Nothing. I pressed again. Still nothing. Then, without warning, the doors slid open. The car was empty, but the air inside was colder than the lobby. Not drafty cold, more like the chill you feel walking past an open freezer. I stepped inside, thumb hovering over the 7 button. For a moment, I did something stupid. I looked down at the panel. The imprint of 9 seemed darker tonight, as if the metal had bruised. My hand hovered, and I swear, this is the part that makes me sound insane. I swear I felt the smallest resistance, like the plate wanted me to press it. I didn't. I hit 7. The doors closed. The elevator began to rise with its usual groan. It stopped at the 7th floor. The doors opened onto the hallway. Dim lighting, beige carpet, identical doors. Normal. I stepped out. Hello? I called softly. No answer. 804's door was slightly ajar. A woman stood behind it, peeking out with one eye. She looked about 40, hair messy, wearing a robe like she'd thrown it in a panic. You came, she breathed. Yes, I said. What did you see? She swallowed. It was just a shape, like a person, but too tall, and it wasn't facing me. It was facing the panel like it was choosing a floor. My skin prickled. Did you hear anything? I asked. She nodded very slowly. It was humming, she whispered, like someone trying to remember a song. I glanced at the elevator. The doors were still open. The car was empty. I'll check the hallway, I said, though I already knew there was nothing to check. I walked down to the stairwell, then back. No one, no footprints, no sign of forced entry. When I returned, the woman had pulled her door closed but was still watching me through the peephole as if she didn't fully trust reality. Is it fixed? I asked. I'll report it, I said. If you see anyone again, call emergency services. She nodded, but her face didn't relax. As I stepped back into the elevator, I noticed something new. On the inside mirror at eye level, there was a faint smear, like someone had touched it with wet fingers. 5 streaks drawn downward. Not fresh enough to drip, not old enough to be dust. Just there. I wiped it with my sleeve. It didn't come off. The elevator doors closed. As I descended, I told myself the woman had imagined it, but I couldn't stop thinking about what she said. It was facing the panel, like it was choosing a floor. The next morning, I asked Jansen about the 9th floor imprint. He was in the office, sipping coffee, looking annoyed at life in general. I kept it casual. Hey, quick question. The elevator panel has a faint 9 plate on it. Was there ever a 9th floor? His hand stopped halfway to his mouth. For a second, he didn't speak. Then he took a slow sip like he needed time. No, he said. There is no 9th floor. So why is it there? He set his cup down carefully. Old parts, he said. Don't worry about it. That's what I told myself, I admitted. But a tenant called, said the elevator opened on its own and she saw someone in it. He stared at me. Something hard flickered behind his eyes. Which tenant? 80 floor. His jaw tightened. Mrs. Havel. He stood up too quickly, chair scraping. Listen, he said, voice low. If the elevator opens by itself again, you log it and you walk away. You do not enter, you do not investigate. Understand? My pulse quickened. Why? He hesitated, then sighed like he was tired of keeping a secret he never wanted to carry. There was an incident, he said, years ago. What kind of incident? He rubbed his forehead. A caretaker went missing, he said, on night shift. My stomach dropped. Missing like quit and disappeared. No, he said, missing like he was in the building and then he wasn't. I stared. Mr. Jansen looked away, jaw clenched. Police searched, he said. They found nothing. No signs he left, no camera footage, nothing. My mouth felt dry. What does that have to do with the elevator? He didn't answer. He just grabbed a folder from a cabinet and shoved it toward me. Tenant records, he muttered. You want something to do? Update these, and don't ask me about floor 9 again. I opened the folder later in the caretaker room, curiosity gnawing at me. It was mostly mundane, leases, complaints, maintenance notes, but there was one page folded and stuffed in the back like someone had tried to hide it. A single incident report. Date, 11 years ago. Time, 3:07 a.m. Reported by night caretaker, Thomas K. Summary. Elevator opened on its own. Car stopped between floors. Strange voice on intercom. Caretaker went to investigate, no further contact. I felt cold. 3:07 a.m., the exact time Mrs. Havel had called me. My skin prickled in a slow wave. That night, I showed up to work early. I brought extra batteries, my phone charger, and, without fully admitting it to myself, a small pocket knife. I told myself I was being practical, but deep down I knew I was preparing for something that didn't fit in the practical world. At 3:06 a.m., I sat in the caretaker room, staring at the elevator camera feed. I kept my eyes on the time in the corner of the screen. The seconds ticked down. 0306:55, 0306:57. I swallowed. 0306:60. The elevator doors in the lobby slid open. No one was there, but the interior panel lit up, one button at a time, as if an invisible finger was pressing them. 4, 6, 8. Then all lights went up for half a second. When they returned, one new light glowed, dim and wrong. 9. My heart pounded in my throat. I stood up so fast my chair almost fell. I grabbed my flashlight and ran to the lobby. The elevator doors were open, waiting. The car was empty, and the 9 plate, no longer just an imprint, was now lit like it was a real button. A pale, soft glow. I froze at the threshold, every instinct screaming at me to do what Jansen said. Log it and walk away.